Okay. The Steam Machine is finally here, and we're gonna take a look at it on stream right now. We're right here. We're on Steam. We're gonna click this right here. Your games on the big screen, powerful PC gaming made easy in a small and mighty package. So real quick, before we get into this, those of you guys who don't know what the Steam Machine is, Steam announced a few months back their kind of like new line of products that they're working on for the coming year, very soon, whatever. I think there's going to be a new gen of Steam Deck that they kind of teased, but then they also talked about the Steam controller, the Steam Machine, and so on. So with the Steam Machine is basically going to be like a mini PC that runs Steam OS. So it's a mini PC that runs Steam OS, very much like the Steam Deck that you can plug in. And I just saw it right here. It starts at $1,049 without a controller. 512 gigabytes. Is that, I guess that's the hard drive space. That's only the cost of 3 parking spots at SoFi Stadium. $1049. And this is all before tax and all that. Then 512 with a controller is $1128. The 2 terabyte version is $1349. Is it only disk space? This also comes with extra face plates for red fabric and solid walnut. And then this was the version with a controller for $1428. Oh man, that is rough. $1049 for the base model, man. $1049 for the base model. Now, there's no difference in RAM, there's no difference in GPU, CPU, it's all the same. So I mean, you're probably going to see this one. Look, you can get the 512 console, the 512 gigabyte console, or it's not really a console. Actually, I'll take it a step further. A lot of people thought this was going to be a console competitor. I think even I mentioned it at some point that the Steam Machine will likely end up like that's kind of what they're trying to like move into. But this is not a console. It's too expensive. It's too, because you're pricing yourself out of the console market. So it's not really a console competitor. It's not really a PC. It's not really a gaming PC. It's not really a console competitor. It's kind of like its own thing. And I would say that, like, honestly, just seeing it at this price point, is it dead on arrival at this price? Do you guys think this is absolutely dead on arrival at this price? I think it's very complicated. And it really depends on what your definition of dead is. $1,049 without a controller. I'm sure you can play with a PS5 or an Xbox controller or something like that. But like, I think most people expected the price of the Steam Machine to be somewhere around a PS5 Pro, maybe a little bit more expensive than a PS5 Pro, which currently for a 2 terabyte PS5 Pro, it's $899. I think if the 512 gigabyte version was this much, it would be a little bit easier to swallow. But $1049, that is a steep price. I think it's an easier pill to swallow at $899, especially for something that's new. Like, this isn't something that's going to replace your consoles. This isn't something that is I don't even know if it really replaces your PC. I mean, this is specifically like, this is almost like an enthusiast product. It's somebody who wants to play their games that are on Steam on their big TV in the living room with a controller. Now, what other ports are there? Like, it looks like you have 2 USB-A ports and 1 USB-C port, which is not going to be enough. Like, if you want to have it be like a PC, like a living room PC replacement, you're going to need more ports. But what are the other ports? Small form factor, cool and quiet, I/O for days, ready for all the peripherals and monitors you can throw at it. 1 gigabit Ethernet. I think 1 gigabit Ethernet is not good enough. Now, how many people have gigabit internet? I mean, fiber or whatever. Like, the reason why I say it's not good enough is not because a lot of people have better internet than that. I think it's not good enough because I think they should future-proof it, and I think it should have been 2.5. I think it should have been 2.5 because that's kind of becoming the standard for a lot of like newer motherboards over the course of the last several years. More and more motherboards are doing 2.5 gigabits. And even then, you might want to do like data transfer beyond, like on LAN, beyond gigabit data transfer. So I think that 1 gigabit is kind of low. It's HDMI 2.0. which like DisplayPort 1.4, HDMI 2.0, 1 USB-C and 4 USB-A ports. They say there's I/O for days, but this is not it. I mean, everything is like old. I think DisplayPort 1.4, it currently goes up to 2.1. The HDMI is low, right? HDMI 2.1 is needed for 120 FPS and VRR. Yeah. So, I mean, this is kind of like CPU and GPU. 4K gaming at 60 FPS with FSR thanks to discrete semi-custom AMD desktop class CPU and GPU. I mean, maybe for what it is, they've made a semi-custom AMD RDNA 3 28 CUS. I actually don't know what this is. AMD Zen 4 6C12T. I think this is similar to the processor. Hold on. ROG Xbox, ROG Ally X, GPU and processor. I want to see this. So the ROG Xbox Ally X, which is a handheld, uses a Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme processor. What is the GPU that it uses? Okay, so this is what the RDNA 3.5. That came out last year. So if we look at the AMD RDNA 328 CUS versus the RDNA 3.5, so mobile laptop GPUs, whatever, comparing these two, it depends on whether you're looking at raw dedicated graphics, muscle and performance, or maximum power. The bottom line, the 28 CUR has a higher overall thermal envelope and dedicated VRAM, making it a brute force gaming solution, while the RDNA 3.5 architecture is much smarter with its power despite having fewer compute units. So it almost looks like it's like a 1A, 1B situation. So they're comparable, but this is going to be more like raw power than the other one. I mean, the bottom line is like for what you're getting, again, that's a handheld. Okay, that's a handheld. That the Xbox ROG Ally X. For comparison, the 9060 XT is 32 CUs. I feel like really what happened here with the Steam Machine is it's just kind of dated for what you're getting. Now, it does what it does just fine. Bluetooth 5.3. So the highest Bluetooth standard right now is 6.2. Now, is that going to matter that much? No, but like the current Steam Machine, like the launch Steam Machine, is not really future-proofed. I will say this is nice. Both come with an expandable storage via micro SD. So you can add a micro SD card and you can expand the storage. So with that being said, so because the storage is expandable, it might be wise to get a 512 and then just get your own storage as needed, or just like delete games as needed. And also, yeah, that's true. Wi-Fi, not having a Wi-Fi 7. Like, I feel like this Steam Machine would have been great if it came out like 2 years ago, maybe even like 3. It's like parts of it is like it would have been good 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. But the launch Steam Machine is kind of disappointing, and it's a PC. Steam Machine is optimized for gaming, but it's still your PC. You can install your own apps or even another operating system. Who are we to tell you how to use your computer? So this is going to have Steam OS, but you could also install like Windows on it or you know, whatever else. And Steam OS is a Linux operating system. Man, I don't know, man. I think, is this dead on arrival? Damn, that is a hefty claim, and I hope I'm wrong, but right now it looks like it is, man. Because I don't know what the incentive is to get this over another PC. The only incentive is if you want a small form factor option to put in your living room, and that's pretty much it. It's a specific it's for the enthusiast. This isn't something that's going to be like a household item for a lot of gamers, because it's not really a gaming system. It's not a console. It's not really a PC. It's just some weird midpoint for gamers that have cash to spend and they want a specific thing. Is this something that I would buy personally? I'm in that target audience where I'm an enthusiast gamer who am I in this target audience? Yes, but I don't think there's a lot of people that are there.
You can get the 512GB model, and you can download 2 whole games to play now. Weighing.
Yeah, like, I mean, I just, like I said, I think it's that is a big claim. Saying that it's dead on arrival is a really, really big claim. But this thing's on a lifeline, in my opinion. I mean, I think you're gonna have like a rush of sales at the beginning, like you always will, from people like me. But I think the target audience for this is very low, you know. And there's some things to talk about, right? Like I said, the price point is just way too high. 1, the price point is way too high. 2, I think that the hardware is kind of behind. Now the concept is very appealing. I actually think the concept of the Steam Machine is very appealing. It's very intriguing. A lot of people were you know, kind of hype about it. We're excited to hear more. Everybody was excited to hear more. But now whenever you kind of get everything laid out, it's just a little bit underwhelming. I think the hardware is just not good enough, bottom line. I think the biggest problem with the Steam Machine right now, after what they've announced, you're paying more for the idea of what the Steam Machine is than you are for like the pure performance, than you are for the actual product itself. What you're paying for is a small form factor PC with SteamOS on it that might have some optimizations for the specific hardware that is proprietary to what the Steam Machine is. And it's kind of overpriced. I mean, I think if this was like $100 less, then the conversation's a lot easier to have. You know, if it was around PS5 Pro cost, maybe even a little bit more than PS5 Pro cost. But the fact that the base model is, you know, a terabyte and a half less space, and it's less, excuse me, and it's $150 more, it's just too much. Bottom line, I think bottom line is just too much. And part of the problem with this, it's not entirely Steam's fault, or excuse me, I don't think it's entirely Valve's fault. I think it's part of like the current market and how everything has just gotten a little bit more expensive in the last year or two. Unfortunately, I think if that's the case, like, why are they releasing this now? I feel like they should have waited on the Steam Machine, and they should have released it when it, like, if this was this cost and everything was like maxed out, right? You know, you need, you know, DisplayPort 2.1, HDMI 2.1, 2.5 gig Ethernet. The fact that there's 4 USB-A ports and 1 USB-C port is just, this isn't a PC. I wouldn't put this in the category of a PC. I know they're trying to market it like that. They're trying to market it like, they're like IO for days. Not really. Everything is a little bit low. Bluetooth 5.3 instead of, you know, currently the highest level standard of Bluetooth is 6.2. I think everything is just a little bit behind. For the cost that you're paying, for the tech that you're getting, you're really just paying for the concept of it. You're paying for the idea. And it's definitely more of like an enthusiast product as opposed to a competitor to consoles, to a competitor to a PC. It's like an enthusiast product. It's for a small market. That market being people that might want a small, nice form factor, you know, PC product, something to be able to play their Steam games on their living room at home on controller. I personally am in that market. That's me, you know, and I probably will get one, and I'll give like a more like legitimate, like in-depth review of it whenever I get one. But I don't think a lot of people are in that market. And that's just me being, you know, being honest. Like, yeah, I have like a huge Steam library. I want to have a Steam machine, literally something with Steam on it in the living room that can play some better games that my Steam Deck can't play. For example, I can't play Street Fighter on my Steam Deck. You know, I wish I could like go downstairs, load up Street Fighter on my Steam Deck and plug it into the PC, and it's just not, you know, it's just not there. So like having something that's like small form factor, it's quiet. And even then, like if I wanted to build a PC that's smaller, I could probably run it. Yeah, I could probably run a lot more stuff on there. Also, the fact that it runs Linux, right? SteamOS is a Linux operating system. Yeah. And then also, even like I said, the cost is another factor, right? Like for me, the difference of $150 for something that I really want, and this is just a personal thing for me. That's something I'm very, you know, I'm lucky to be in that position. That's not that big of a deal, but I think for a lot of people, it kind of prices them out, man. I think it prices a lot of the audience out. And this is something that probably I wouldn't write off the Steam Machine forever because I think it's such a good idea. Okay. I think it is such a good idea to have something like this for what it wants to do. And like I said, what you're paying for at launch is the idea of it. You're paying for the concept. You're paying for like this specific proprietary thing. I wouldn't write it off forever, but the launch version of the Steam Machine, like Steam Machine 1.0, I don't think it's there. Like I think for most people, I wouldn't expect most people to be able to pay $1,050 for the base model of the Steam Machine. Will I get one? Sure. Will I get one, play it, try and give like a legitimate review of it and see how good it really is? Is there a chance that I'm wrong? Absolutely. You know, there's absolutely a chance that I'm just like outright wrong on this thing. But I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't look on paper. This doesn't look super appealing, man. This doesn't look like the guy on paper for me right now, or to me, I should say. The price will not get lower either. Okay, so will the price get lower in the future? I don't expect the price to get lower, but what I would expect is for like the Steam Machine 2.0 or whatever, or like the version 2, Steam Machine Mark II, whatever they want to call it. I would expect for it to be able to stay the same price and be able to get better hardware in there, hopefully, based on like the way the market goes. The market is greedy. It's just the truth. The market is greedy, and I think a lot of times whenever there's something set at a certain price, it's hard to get that price to go down for the next level. Like they might keep it the same, but it's hard to get the price to go down because at that point people buy it, and whenever people buy it, the freaking manufacturers, the guys at the top, they're like, well, they're paying for it already. You know, why not just bump it up a little bit more? Why not just do this, even if they don't need to? Which is unfortunate. But that's kind of what we're looking at. Yeah, that's how it all works. So if you don't get lucky with Valve's Steam Machine reservation system, you can actually make your own Steam Machine instead. Valve says that starting with the SteamOS 3.8 release, you can put together your own Steam Machine using whatever PC parts you want. SteamOS 3.8.10 launched last week with a slew of updates, including improved compatibility with recent Intel and AMD platforms. Alongside that improved compatibility, Valve is giving gamers the green light to install SteamOS on their own desktop. In an interview with The Verge, Valve's Pierre-Luc Griffin, I don't know how to pronounce that, said Valve has been rolling out improvements to SteamOS so it's more compatible with desktop hardware, including eventual support for NVIDIA graphics. Griffin says Valve has a growing team working on NVIDIA driver support for SteamOS, adding we're collaborating with NVIDIA very closely. While he mentioned that NVIDIA support might not come this year, he emphasized that it's certainly something that we're working on in the background. I may have just gotten an idea for another video. What if I build my own Steam Machine? Chat, we might be building our own Steam Machine. What I'll probably do is I do probably want to try and get my hands on an actual Steam Machine, but I think it'd be really fun to build one. We'll see what happens. So anyways, let me guys know in the comments below what you guys think about the Steam Machine. Like I said, I think this thing's looking rough to start. Leave a comment. Like the video, please. Subscribe if you guys want to subscribe. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. We do all kinds of different stuff on this YouTube channel, you know, and I have a few other YouTube channels as well. Esfand Daily is my YouTube channel for daily uploads. We're actually changing some stuff up here. A lot of the IRL content and stuff that you'll see over the course of the next couple months, at least, that's going to be over on Esfand Daily. And if you guys want to go sub to that YouTube channel, just to kind of like categorize and spread stuff out a little bit more. And then the EsfandTV YouTube channel being a little bit more like planned type of reacts or planned content, stuff like that. Maybe not reacts, but like kind of explanations of certain things, gaming related, you know, whether it's like WoW, whether it's other games, general gaming news, kind of big stuff like that. So they're both going to be good channels, but we're kind of spreading it out to kind of like see if we can work on the like kind of categorizing things for the algorithm and stuff like that. So please subscribe, leave a like, comment, all those different things. Let me know what you guys think about the Steam Machine, and we'll see you guys next time.